Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so in this video I'm just going to go through with you the process for before we get into the course. If you decide that you want to sign your commits to GitHub, so when you go to GitHub, if you don't have an account, you can sign up here, right? You go through the sign up process and get a GitHub account. This is a repository. It's like a online file storage for your code. Okay, so it's a good idea to get a GitHub account. Once you get a GitHub account, like for example, here's my account. I'm just going to show you in a second how to set up your signing keys. Okay, so the first thing I do when I set up my machine, and this is a brand new Windows 11 VM that I'm just going to use for demonstration purposes. Okay, the first thing that I normally do is install Git. So you go to this link right here, git-scm.com. I think we went through this before in the other video, so I'm just going to quickly install this really fast just so you could see really quick here. Let me get this installed and just going to go through all the defaults here. Okay, so just hit next, and then you can click here the documentation and go to the GitHub cheat sheet right here, and then select English or the language that you speak, and then you're going to copy these in a few seconds into your terminal. Okay, so basically you copy this one and you change this to your name, your username, and then you copy this one and paste it and put your email address, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to finish that. So I'm not going to do this on this machine because I already have it set up on another machine. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is go to openpgp.org. Okay, and you go to software, and this is a Windows machine, so I'm going to go GPG for Windows, and I'm going to go to their website here, and they ask for a donation. You could donate if you want. For now I'm just shooting this video, so I'm just going to download it and install it. Okay, so there's basically two ways that you can create your keys for signing your commits. Okay, so once this is installed, I'll show you. Now I'm also going to install IntelliJ because that's what I'll be using throughout the course. So I'm using IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate. You could download it from here, and there is a 30-day free trial. So once you're registered, you can get a free trial, right? Okay, so this is done. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to show you something here. You can run Cleopatra. Okay, so there's basically, so we have this, there's two ways that we can create our keys. Okay, so the first way, if you go to your GitHub account, once you have your account and you sign in, I'm just going to minimize this for a second. I'm just going to show you here. Okay, so there's two ways you can do it. The first way, if you go to your GitHub profile once you get your account, and you go to settings, you go down here to SSH and GPG keys, and you're gonna go new GPG key. Okay, and you can put a title, and then you copy the public key that is going to be generated for you in just a second. Okay, so let me just go back for a sec. And at the bottom here it says learn how to generate a GPG key. So if you click that, okay, I'm just gonna copy this right here. I'm just gonna paste it in here. Okay, so basically you can check for existing keys, you can generate a new key, you can add the key to your GitHub account, you can tell GitHub about, or you can tell Git about your signing key, and you can associate your email with your key, and you can sign commits. Okay, so the first way to do it is you can I normally skip this step, and all the instructions have instructions for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Okay, so now if you go here first to this one, they're gonna tell you that you need to download and install the GPG command line tools, which we already did. If I open this link, it's gonna take us to this site here, and then under Windows you can see the GPG for Windows right here, which we've already downloaded and installed, right? Okay, so it's here. All right, okay, so now if you want to check for an existing key, you basically just copy this right here, and let's get a terminal. I forgot to park that on my taskbar there, so I'm gonna do that. Pin to taskbar, and I'm using a virtual machine here for this because I've already got everything set up on my system, right? I don't want to mess it all up, so I'm just gonna do it here just to show you. Let me just fix these. Okay, so you paste that in the PowerShell there, and there's nothing. Okay, so you can see we don't have one. So the first way is you can go through this process right here that they tell you to go through, where you generate the key and you go through the defaults and you list the secret keys, blah blah blah. It's a lot more work to get to this point. Okay, so you could do it that way, or you could do it this way. Remember, we have the Cleopatra. You can go new key pair, and then what I normally do is put my name. Okay, I'm gonna put my email address. I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna check the advanced here. It's the using the latest encryption algorithm here, signing, authentication, and how long it's valid for. Let's say okay, and then you want to protect the generated key with a passphrase. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and generate it. It's gonna ask me for a passphrase, so I'm gonna go ahead and enter it in. And don't worry, I'm gonna be deleting this key and this virtual machine after this video, so this key will no longer be valid. Okay, so doing it this way is a little bit easier than going through all these steps right here. So then you want to tell Git about your signing key to go through these steps right here, and even this is you know, quite a bit of work, and basically you want to get down to this command right here. Okay, so let's go through that. But first we have to add to our GitHub account. Okay, so in order to get the key, you can just right click here and go export, and I'm just going to put it on the desktop and save it. Okay, and then I can open with Notepad, and I can copy this key right here like this. Okay, and then I go to my GitHub profile and I go to new GPG key and I paste it in here, and I put the title. I can say Windows 11 dev machine. Okay, So now it's asking me for the security, obviously, which I'm not going to do at this point. So I'm actually not going to add that to my account. But the process is, that's it. That's all you have to do to get it into your GitHub. Okay. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to delete this. Okay. So then to tell Git about your signing key. So you would do the same thing here. You would open up a terminal and you just copy this right here. Okay, paste it. And what you want to get is this number here after the first / under the SEC, the security tab right here. Okay, so then you're gonna go like this: git config global user sign key. So you would copy this, and then you would copy this key identifier right here, like that, and then paste it and press enter. Okay, and then once you do that, it's gonna record that key to your Git account on this computer. And then if you copy this right here, this is gonna sign all commits by default. Okay, and that's it. So then once you set this up, you can sign your commits inside of IntelliJ. So I'm just going to close this for now, and we'll set up IntelliJ really quick, and then we're going to get in the next video, we're going to get into the course. Okay, so I'm going to just install IntelliJ here. Now you're probably wondering, why am I using IntelliJ instead of Visual Studio Code? I use VS Code for years and I do like it, but for me personally, I just found IntelliJ to be better because I could use it for everything. It has a lot of additional tools built in and version control, etc. It just has a lot of stuff where it's easier to get it set up and get going, where VS Code takes a lot more to get to the same place, and you have to use a lot of different third-party extensions that aren't available in VS Code that are available in IntelliJ by default. So I don't know why this installer is not opening for me. Let me just, oh, there we go. I saw it pop up there just for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so basically you run the installer, gonna hit next, go with the defaults next. I normally do and then select all of these because I use it for everything anyway. And I add to the bin folder to path, hit next and install. Basically that's going to go through the install, and then you're ready to go to code. Okay, so once that installs, then you can tell it which key you're using to sign your commits. You actually don't have to go through a lot of those steps if you're using IntelliJ, because you can set up to automatically sign all your commits in IntelliJ right from that application. So some of those steps you don't even have to do. So, and you can also sync your settings. So I mean, if you get onto a new laptop or a new PC, or you know, switch up your VMs quite often, it's really easy to set up your keys and get your dev environment up and running really quick. So this is just going to take a few seconds, and I could probably just show you on here. So I'm just going to minimize this here, and once IntelliJ is installed, basically it's going to come here to this pop-up, and once you open up your project and you get your project open, or you create a new project, when you go into the settings, right, it takes a second to open from the beginning. I don't know why this is popping up on me all the time. Okay, so once you get it open, you go to settings and you go to version control and you go to Git, and then you could click this button right here that says configure GPG key, and then sign commits with GPG key. It says I cannot find the key right now, and I think it's because I haven't run Cleopatra for a while on this machine, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, and that's it. Let's see if this is done. It's still installing. Okay, so anyway, if you have any questions about getting your commit signed, you can just ask me in the comments. So by now you should have your development environment completely set up and configured, right? So let me just delete this key here, because so I'm going to revoke and I'm going to delete it. Delete. Okay, so that key is gone. I asked you a couple times just to make sure. Okay, so there's no keys there now. And let me just double check and make sure. Everything should be gone now. Okay, yep, I think we're good. Okay, so that is it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. In the next one, we're going to start our course and get underway with the introduction to HTML. Thanks for watching.